So let's start. So first thing, because we are going to build a mobile device uh, uh, world or setup, we still have to use MRTK, AR Foundation and AR Core XR, but don't install it just yet. I'm gonna show you which version you will have to deal with and where is it specifying. So let me share this link with you on the chat again. So here, it's actually specifying whether you are exporting this MRTK. You need to use specific version if you are using iOS or Android. So we are using 2019.4. something. I'm using 17. And if you are using Android, which is my case, you will have to use this pair. For iOS, this pair. Yeah. So that's how we know which version we need. And I'm pretty sure Hanjun was also using this version yesterday. So AR Foundation, scroll down, CO versions. We're going to use 2.1.8, install. Okay, so AR Foundation 2.1.8, AR Core XR plugin, in my case, 2.1.11. And I'm going to install. So go to this assets folder, import package, custom package, click, and you go to your folder where you downloaded it. Where is it? For me, and then navigate to the folder that you have, yeah. And then MRTK, install this foundation and example. You only need these two, and install this one first, foundation, and say open. It's going to be by default have everything, and then just say import. So once you have done with that first package with foundation, please you import the examples as well. All right, so for that, we are going to actually use one of the example files from examples. So if you go to MRTK folder, there is this example file and demos. And we are going to have a look at the UX and bounding box and scenes and bounding box examples. Double click. And if it's asking you to import TMK essentials, install it. The examples and extras you don't have to install. Okay, so these are, okay. They are just sets of different bounding boxes. And there are different features. You can't really see that here, but if you start playing, don't worry about that. So just say okay. Okay, so this is actually helping you to simulate. You can use your mouse to rotate around. Sometimes some of you might have this problem that the simulation is not working. Don't worry, it happens sometimes. In that case, you are deployed app might work still, even if the simulation doesn't work. So what this is actually doing is putting different objects in different bounding boxes, and they have a slightly different types of control and display. So you can have a look to see what kind of display versions you like. So you can see that there is things called HoloLens 1 first generation style. And there's this one is called first 2 style, like HoloLens 2 style. So they will still work for all the devices, both devices, but HoloLens 1, because HoloLens 1 can only interact with one hand, that's why the style for this has a lot more controller that is more visible. So this one is very typical that you can see all the rotation controller here, for example, and the scale controller here, for example, that is so big, so you can actually see it. But when it, yeah, and when it goes to the next generation, the bounding box became a little bit more not so obvious, which is more beautiful. Yeah, but if you want to keep decide to use different styles, you can just decide which one you like and copy that one of them. Yeah. So when we are coming to use MRTK, we are not going to build things from scratch. We are going to use everything from the example file. And they have already provided pretty much things, and I don't have to by heart know every feature, single features, or to know how to build these things from scratch. So how I'm going to do is I'm going to just use this bounding box example and just know how to change the objects to my own object. So this one, for example, I liked for example, the third one where there was this bounding box. Yeah, maybe this one is what I like, and I wanted to change the colors or change the object to my own. You can already see that all the interactive scripts are inside the first parent layer, and everything else that were child is just child. It's normal objects. And there is text as well. Text. There is also this text. Yeah. So we now understand that only thing we really need to change is these two objects. So I have a script. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as in a scene to my own. So it's a bounding box scene modified. So save it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one and change this to my own geometry, which is totally fine. So I'm going to import one of my model. I have already shared my model there in the Google Drive, and I have this model called house. If you have house as obj and a texture, just drag both together. Oh, I should make a folder, right click, say models, double click, and I'm going to drag these two files together. So I properly import the material as well. And then I'm going to just drag this one to my scene. That's my house. And go to transform, reset to 0, 0, 0. So you can tell that the 0, 0, 0 is in the center. And remember this, when you doing anything about AR, you should not change the positions or mess with the camera position, because camera should be always positioned in 000 position and looking at the Z direction. And why is that? Because the camera position represents your device position. So there are lots of things that is scripted according to that. So we don't want to mess with that. So sometimes students make mistake and like trying to build this somewhere else and moving it, which means that when you launch your app, you will be still here, and there is a very good chance that you don't find your objects. And also 1 meter is 1 unit. Yeah, so I'm sure you guys know that already. I'm going to scale this model so we can actually see it with our bare eyes. And I'm going to replace this geometry. I'm going to have to scale this a little bit more. Of course, you could have also copied the prefab itself and modify inside the prefab. But if we do that, then we are just changing a lot of things. So this one, I'm going to then child my house. Where's my house? House, okay, under coffee cup 3. So under here. Okay, so you cannot do that because this is a prefab. So I'm going to unpack the prefab, explode it so you can make any modification, and put this house M here. So you can also change its name to something more obvious, like house or something else. So I'm going to delete my coffee cup. Okay, and now if I play my video, my game, okay, I can actually modify my house item. Okay, and there was a huge bar there. It's pretty ugly, so we are going to turn that off as well. So if we want to test this on our phone, we save the project, and in the file we go to, before we change things on the scene, we need to do a few things. We go to the build settings and add the open scene. We are going to switch the platform to Android or iOS, and then go to the player settings. And in Android, we are going to change the company name to something unique. You have to do this, otherwise it's not gonna recognize on your phone. And in the other settings, change this, delete the Balkan in Android. All right, great. So I have it deleted, and we should uncheck the multi-threaded rendering and change this Android minimum API level to level 424. And it's optional, but you change this to net 4.x, and this should be okay. And for iOS, you will need to change this API level. Just say yes and apply if that pops up. You don't need to change it, but we have target minimum iOS level. Where is that? Target minimum iOS level. Just change it to 11 if you are exporting to your iOS device. And strip engine code. Where is it? Uncheck. Strip engine code. Uncheck. Okay. As this is Android device, make sure you do this and then close it and go back to the build scene. Make sure you have your scene here. We are not going to build it just yet. Close this. We need to do a few things that you don't need to do this if you are deploying to MRT HoloLens. So mixed reality toolkit, click on it, and we have to create clone the profile in order to make some changes here. So clone the profile and change its name to something that is very obvious to you so you can find it. I use my initial SH and underscore and say clone. You can change it to your own name. Once you have cloned it, it creates this. So this is under, if you missed it, you can go back to here and click on the camera. You don't have to. So if you don't see this, you can click on the camera. So this is the one that we just created. And now you can access all this feature. And we need to change something in the camera. And we are going to make a clone of this profile in order to make changes to our camera setting. So I'm going to also make a unique name, say clone. And then what you need is you need to add a camera setting provider. If you don't do this, it's not going to work with your mobile devices. So here you want to change the type to the first one, Unity AR camera settings. And that's it. You don't need to do anything else. And just save the scene so we don't see the star anymore here. Okay. And then you can file, build settings, and just say build. And we are going to make a folder called builds. And I'm going to name it, maybe say SDP 00 MRTK 1. You can just send this to your phone and test deploy it. It's going to show this dirty thing, this one. It's checking CPU memories. Yeah, so that's how you can navigate in your mobile phone. You can also scale it. Okay. So yeah, test it on your phone to see if it works. And if you can close it, and if you want to turn off that ugly diagnostic bar, let's say now if I simulate this, I will see that here. Yeah, I still see this thing, right? I'm gonna turn this off by going to this mixed reality toolkit again. And you remember there were different features here. And click diagnostics and disable this diagnostic system. And now if you play, you will not see it anymore. My computer has been a little bit slow. Say okay. Yeah, now you don't see that.